grandkids are going to take a
Grandkids
shit.
are gonna fuck.
I want to keep playing with this.
Yeah,
Turn
sure.
it a little more. Hello. Ooh, my hair isn't looking too crazy this morning. We're off to a good start. That's a good sign for the first thing in the morning live stream. Today I got my Adventure is Out There up mug. Celebrating a little Pixar magic for the release of Hoppers this week. That's right, it's a sponsored segment. I got my first sponsored segment from Pixar. No, I didn't. But weirdly, I am actually kind of excited about Hoppers, mostly because of oh no, I'm spacing on his name. The director. Give me a second. This is bad. Right, Daniel Chong, the creator of We Bare Bears. I always love We Bare Bears, and I think that vibe, that style of humor, would be great in a Pixar film. Even though I have to say, nothing in the trailers made me really laugh that much, but it does look really charming, and the animation looks really cute. So yeah, I'm gonna give that one a shot. Maybe see in theaters. So that's my sort of faint praise and excitement. If this was an actual sponsored segment, I don't think I'd be getting the money. I think you have to sell it a little harder than I just did. So yeah, I got to work on that if I'm gonna make any money off sponsors for these streams, so I can sell things to all two of my concurrent viewers. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for joining me. Already almost done my coffee. Got some water too. Extra hydration. Important. Okay. Let's jump into today's slideshow. Today's slideshow is going to be sort of light and fun. And we're going to spend a bit more time in the draw pile, I think. Who knows? I always think this. I'm like, oh, this one will be short. And then I end up rambling for 45 minutes. That's the idea, though. And also, just a sign of my growth and learning as a live streamer, the draw pile is already ready to go. So technically you could jump in there right now and start drawing as I chat. And I had the thought that might be a good approach in general, is like just open the draw pile at the start of the stream. That way people get in there and do some drawing while they listen. And then when I jump in there, I'm kind of jumping into something already in progress, and that would be fun for me to see what people have been drawing while I've been chatting. That could be a fun moment to have live on stream, just in case, unless people are drawing really bad stuff, then I might have to revoke those privileges, or have some sort of cop in there, keep an eye on things. And I also have been testing out with some new OBS features, all those little questions I've been having about how to do things in OBS. I'm starting to answer my own questions. One thing I will pass along, just in case anyone else is interested in learning OBS and learning streaming, is one thing that I was always wondering about is I would start my streams, and I have my little list of different scenes that I could go into that have the different components. And I always had to refresh them every time I loaded this, the scene. I had to refresh the connection between each application, and it was really frustrating. But I realized the answer is pretty simple. I just have to have the applications already open and ready to go, and then open OBS, and then it will it takes a little longer to boot it up, but it will be connecting to all those things. So it's a fun lesson I learned about streaming that I pass on to anyone else who's thinking about doing it themselves sometime. So there you go. You're already learning something, which is good, because you're not going to learn a lot from today's slideshow, even though it'll be fun. It'll be fun anyway. So, and here we go. Look at that smooth transition. It's already ready to go. Welcome to the first thing in the morning live stream. If you got time to scream, you got time to stream. It's a little adage of mine that I just came up with. There's a lot to scream about going on in the world, but there's a lot going on in the world that is worthy of screaming for. screaming about, being upset about. And also, we continue doing what we do because that's what we do. All right. So what do? We do stream. We do stream today. We do not do stream next week. March 9th, no stream. But yes, stream. A few days later, yes, stream. On Thursday, March 12th, special stream. I will be launching my Patreon. So this will be very much a soft launch. I'm not going to have everything sort of in place the way I'm eventually hoping to, but I want to get it started, and I'm doing it with the same sort of philosophy that I'm doing the live streams with, where you're going to see the sort of like me stumbling out of the gate version of it, figuring it out as I do it. And then I'll probably do once I've kind of established it a little bit, I'll be doing a more proper launch and push of the Patreon and the live stream, because I'm going to try to make it all sort of feel like one thing. And that'll tie into, what I was talking about last week with the Instagram as a billboard for all the things I do. That sort of presentation, that sort of launch, I'm thinking that will be a early April thing. I'd like to time that with when I do OCAF, the Ottawa Comics Arts Festival, because it'll be nice that anyone who I meet there, who likes my stuff, who goes to look for more, can find a good presentation of all the stuff that I've been establishing and going to continue to do throughout the rest of the year. So look forward to that. And that stream, by the way, special Steam I wrote. So it'll be steamy, I guess, because you'll be able to watch me working, and that'll be pretty steamy. No, it won't. It will be very, very chaste and very regular, but it'll be fun. And then, because I'll be working on some of the stuff I'll be doing for OCAF, I'll be working on a zine, doing some cleanup of that. And then on March 16th, I will be streaming again, just a regular Monday morning stream. And then on March 23rd, I will be streaming and streaming, multitasking. All right. So disclaimer, I'm just some guy. If you learn something, cool. I'm not claiming to have the answers. I'm going to tell you what I've been interested in, what I've been trying. It might not work for you. I don't even know if it works for me. So this one I'd like to hear from other people about what their thoughts and feelings and experience with this are, with this topic is, wrong side of the screen. Let's get physical. And let's talk about physical media. Why buy DVD? So streaming. Obviously, we all use it. There's things that we all like about it. It's completely changed the way we engage with media. The good, I think this was sort of the initial promise of it, the most attractive part of it at first blush, is the idea that you don't have to have a big DVD collection hogging up a bunch of space to have a good on-demand movie selection. So it used to be, I knew some people who basically effectively had a whole room where there was basically bookshelves lining the wall with all their movies. And you can free up space by not having that. Of course, as you say that, you actually think about it. It's funny. I don't know if we really thought this way at the time. That was just it felt like an appealing idea. But now it's like, it's kind of sad that we don't have that in our homes, right? Anyway, we'll get into that with the bad. But freeing space, cool. A lot more room for activities. TVs are smaller too, actually. That also helps. And then it also makes viewing things, there's a more versatile viewing experience, meaning you can save your things in a watch list. It's really dynamic in that way. You can resume watching something, right? So like if you paused in the middle of it, whenever you come back to it, it's still in the middle of it. There's minimal boot up time. You don't have to open the case, put the DVD in there. God forbid you have to walk across the room to put it in the tray, close it. And then for me, I think this was the most attractive thing is there's no unskippable FBI warning or little those unskippable things at the start of DVDs, the logos and whatever things they force you to watch. Now it's just ads that they force you to watch. And of course, this might be probably what was most enticing about it is the one price for many movie. But of course, with all these appealing little things that lure you into streaming, there is some negative parts about it. Main thing being is you don't own any movies anymore. Instead, Netflix owns you. Your movies can be taken away at a moment's notice. The library is not yours. It belongs in a cloud. Another side effect of this is historical documentation. So, first of all, some movies now are only released on streaming, and they're never released on physical. And if their streaming window ends, they're effectively gone, and there's no way to hold on to them. And then, of course, sometimes even movies that do get kept on streaming, classic movies, get altered. And we see this often with... this is a very Disney thing, and that's because Star Wars is Disney. I think Star Wars is the classic example of changing the movie after the fact for later audiences. But Star Wars is Disney now, so it's all sort of lumped together. And there's a lot of things that get brought up about the changes to Disney movies on Disney Plus. One that always springs to mind is in Lilo and Stitch, Lilo was hiding in a washing machine at one point, and they changed that years later. They redrew it so that she's hiding in a pizza box or something. I forget, but they changed it so that she isn't hiding in a washing machine because that's they don't want kids imitating that, which I guess fair enough. But I mean, where's the line, right? Of how much are we tampering with these things? And it might seem sort of frivolous or not that consequential to think about, they change a gag in a cartoon. It's not a big deal. But all these little big popular movies are cultural reference points, and those things are shared experiences. They're shared cultural memories. And we see how sensitive this is through the Mandela effect, right? That even without things being actually changed, our memories, our perception of them culturally can change. And it's those shared memories up against objective evidence can be very confusing and almost breed it's another layer of information and conversation around that. So I think there's a importance to having that historical documentation. People have done that with Star Wars, actually. There's the despecialized editions, and there's a lot of documentation about things that have changed, which, like I said, because this is part of the sort of shared cultural memory, cultural fabric, I think it's important to have a working knowledge base about these things that we remember and things that have meant stuff to us and influenced how we see the world. So collecting physical media, what's in light of the fact that you can have so much on demand through streaming, why buy DVD? Well, honestly, it's just fun having a collection. Like I said before, having that big, when you walk into someone's house and you go into a room and it's full of DVDs, it's exciting to go, ooh, I'm going to look at the movies with this person and talk. And it's going to be like I was saying, it's shared, there's that shared cultural memory. It's a great way of getting to know someone, just looking at what kind of collection they have. And of course, each one of those movie spines can be the prompt of a conversation. And not just talking about the movie, but it ends up talking about, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. My dad took me to see that one. Oh, I still remember we used to go to the movies every Sunday. Da, da. And you're talking about your actual lives and stuff. I don't feel like that really happens quite so much when you're browsing through Netflix. I mean, I guess it could, but there's a more I don't know, grounded, real, in the room feeling doing it with a physical shelf of DVDs. That's a kind of a magical thing. So yeah, and like I said, it says something about your taste in curation. It's, beyond just selecting things for your watch list, the things that you will go out and buy and put in your collection is like sort of mentally reinforcing, yeah, this is important to me, and it sort of reinforces that idea for yourself and how you can express that to other people through the things that you find important, that you've sought out. And then, of course, unlike the Netflix library that can change anytime, they can't be taken away from you at a moment's notice. Well, okay, I guess it can, but it's harder. They'd have to Netflix would have to break into your home to take them. So there's more of a price that they have to pay to come in and take them. But you know what? They can't be edited. They can be taken, but they can't be edited. Or again, it's harder. George Lucas would have to break into your home and replace the copies or something, which I wouldn't put it past him. I think he did do that with some people's Star Wars holiday special DVDs. He needed to get that out of the cultural memory, and he did not succeed. So I think the main takeaway from that is, at the end of the day, people want to preserve these things, right? There's like people who will. One thing you see on the internet is that there's people out there who will take it upon themselves to preserve cultural memory, to preserve legacy, and that really shows that it's important to people, that there's enough people out there who do it. There's enough people out there who support it enough for the other people to do it. Things like, big collaborative research projects like Wikipedia, but even just, the amount of video essays on YouTube just going over the changes in Star Wars movies, for example, and the amount of views those get really show that this is something that is meaningful and important to people. And physical media is just a very compelling way to preserve that. So I want to talk about my collection. So I'll admit I don't have once the streaming thing started, I really scaled down my collection of DVDs. And basically the way I approach the movies I have are really like my favorite movies. It's like that top 50 range, But I'm not going to talk about the movies right now. I'm going to talk about the thing physical media that I collect the most, and something I'm always on the hunt for is non-feature animation. So I don't buy, like I said, unless it's one of my favorite movies. I don't buy a lot of animated movies on DVDs, but I really like to buy like old cartoons or short collections on DVD. I really love finding a cool like short collection, whether that's a thing of like a compilation of Russian animation shorts, or a compilation of Looney Tunes, Daffy Duck shorts or whatever. I love finding that stuff. I always look in the best is when you're like looking in the bargain bin and you find like a $5 Bugs Bunny short DVD or something. My sweet spot is stuff from the 90s. A lot of my collection is 90s cartoons. You can see a few of them there. And then, of course, especially stuff that is not on streaming. So I'm going to switch over to the share cam, and I'm going to do a little show and tell. Now, I know using the term show and tell is a little confusing for my branding, since I run an event called Animation Show and Tell. But this will be more of a traditional show and tell, where I will show you things and tell you about them. Specifically, right next to me, I've got a stack of DVDs that you just saw in the slideshow. And for the next 50 minutes, I'm just gonna go through my collection. It'll be like we're looking at it together, like it's on my bookshelf, and we're just perusing the spines, and we're just talking about all the different things we see. So I'm gonna grab the first one on top of the pile. This is a recent buy. I didn't find this in stores. I got this off of they sell this at Vinegar Syndrome, which is a video store in Toronto. I got it off their website though. And this is Animation Night in Canada, Volume 1. And I really I love that. I'm really hoping they put out more of these. I'm trying to see who released this. Canadian International Pictures. Okay, so it's a compilation of a lot of the best NFB shorts and the most important NFB shorts from the 60s up to, I think the newest one on here is the Big Snit from 1985. So the Big Snit, like, it's one of the most well-known Richard Conde's film from 1985. I love the Kai Pindle shorts. There's a couple on here. There's his short. Which one is it? What is it called here? The smoking one. Oh no, smoking isn't on this one, unless it's in the special features. No, What on Earth by Kai Pindle is on here, and then the Underground movie is also on this one. That's by Les Drew, but Kai Pindle had a lot to do with that one. And then it's got the Ryan Larkin Walking film. It's got Norm McLaren's Pas de Deux, which is incredible. So yeah, and I really like just good choice of frame from Ryan Larkin's film, as the packaging just has a cool look to it. So that's on Blu-ray. So really nice, high quality transfers. I'm been slowly picking my way through that one. I've watched most of it at this point. Obviously a few of these I'd already seen in the past, but a few of them I haven't yet seen and have yet to watch on this Blu-ray. This one, not much more needs to be said about Over the Garden Wall, a classic. Pat McHale and Nick Cross, amazing work on this one. This is one I remember. I'm not sure. I watched this with friends. The first time I saw this was I watched it in a basement on a projector with like a room full of other animators. I don't know if anyone had already seen it and sort of been like, okay, someone insisted we all have to watch it, or if we all just knew it was going to be amazing and we all watched it for the first time together. I can't really remember, but that was my first time watching it, and it totally blew me away. And it's definitely a yearly revisit, although I didn't watch it last year, but it is something that that's a real. I feel that's become a real touchstone reference that everyone. That one comes up a lot. It's a big influence on animators, and I think points to something that there's a real craving for, a real audience for, that is underserved, to have a little more sophisticated tone to something that is whimsical and child friendly, but has that sort of darker edge. It's kind of a lot of the beloved stuff of the kids movies from the 80s has that sort of vibe, or that range. I actually haven't I've seen some of these, but I haven't watched all through this yet. But Fleischer Brothers Superman, just super impressive work for the time, still holds up. They've been doing some newer updated transfers or remasters of Fleischer cartoons that have been screening in theaters. I saw a collection of them at the Bytown, and that was amazing. Some of them is whoa, it's like seeing it for the first time. The colors are completely different than you thought they were, because the remasters have actually improved, cleaned it up. I'd love to, I guess I'd imagine that they're planning to release those on Blu-ray at some point. That'd be amazing to add to the collection. This one, sentimental, just a Loud House collection. This is one of those. Okay, yeah. So it's not a full season, but it's also not one of those random collection of episodes. It's just a volume of season 2. And I got this just, I worked on Loud House, and I just like to have a physical token of something I worked on. This one I've been revisiting over the past year, as it's a big influence on my current project, the Jetsons, and this is just like full of fun ideas. I always liked the Jetsons. It's sort of, I often thought of as like lesser to Flintstones, and I get it. I think Flintstones has more more of the characters are more likable, I guess. But I like the gags. I like the world of the Jetsons. I like all the quirky sci-fi retro stuff. And I think, I don't know. I think George's funny character, Elroy's great. The Rosie the maid is great. Judy is really fun. All the stuff with her and her like high school friends is like some of my favorite stuff. The sort of like 50s teenager high school stuff, but through the sci-fi lens. This one is really cool. This one I found at Amoeba Music in LA. So this was a fun find, because this is a pretty rare run. I've never come across any physical DVDs from this show, but this is Shadow Raiders. Out of the 3 in like first offerings from Mainframe, which were Reboot, Beast Wars, and then Shadow Raiders. This one is very much forgotten, but I think it still really stands up in a lot of ways. The animation for the time, really strong. This is when they had sort of got their footing of how to like make this stuff look good. It's dated, obviously, but I think it holds up, tells the story well, and the story is really cool. It's based off of a toy line called War Planets. Again, so the reason it's Shadow Raiders. Actually, I'm surprised. So I found this in America. Yeah, interesting. I remember the show keeping the name War Planets for the American broadcast, but being retitled Shadow Raiders for Canadian. For the same reason that Beast Wars was changed to Beasties, which was that it was okay to have a show with war in it, to have violence and guns and like mayhem and stuff in a kid's show, but as long as the word war wasn't in the title, that was like a stipulation of Canadian broadcasting. So, oh, you know what? I'm seeing it says War Planet Shadow Raiders. So it says War Planets at the top. Anyway, naming aside, this is a really cool show about it's like about a system of planets that are all elementally coded. So there's like a rock planet, a fire planet, ice planet, etc. And they're all being threatened by the Beast Planet, which is not so much a planet, but a giant rogue, unthinking, unfeeling machine in the shape of a planet that eats other planets. So very much like a Unicron idea, a planet-eating planet. But it had a really cool design. It was just like a sleek black sphere that would open up, and a giant claw would come out and take a planet and pull it inside to the machine. And the villains were the sort of emissaries of this planet, and they looked really cool. They were like made out of nothingness. They were like void. So like their bodies would just be almost like, it would be like they'd have a physical form, but it was made out of this almost like gel that looked like a portal to space. And then they had like a skull mask that on their face. You can sort of see the main one here that sort of contained their, like, that was their, expressive part of their character. So this is not even a full season. This is just one of those DVDs that I assume they're in order, but it just says contains 4 exciting episodes. Go through a few more of these. I will say that if you are, oh, hold on, let me. Okay, I'm learning something here. So I had my drop pile ready to go for later, but it's been idle for too long, so it disconnected. Okay, because I was going to say if anyone wants to jump into the draw pile now, you can. But I might have to set that up again after I'm done. Anyway, that's good to know. This is one of my favorite cartoons or animated shows. It's not really... I'll let you decide if you want to call it a cartoon or not. It's not very cartoony, but Daria. This show holds up so well. It's so witty. It's so funny. The characters are incredible. Every character is fun and likable and memorable. I'm not even. I mean, I remember really loving this show when it came out. I thought it was so cool. I don't know what prompted me to revisit it, but when I did, I was like, oh yeah, all these other characters like Kevin and Brittany and their teacher, I can't forget his name, with the one eye is huge. Every character has these great little memorable moments, and I love that each character always has their like uniform that they're always seen in. Like even Kevin is literally always wearing his football uniform, literally wearing his uniform all the time. Anyway, great show, definitely worth revisiting. It still feels really fresh and relevant, even though it is also very 90s coded and like a bit of a time capsule in that way. The only thing that's kind of a bummer about the DVD release is that it's an MTV show, so MTV produced it, and big part of the show is they would license music from popular bands to use in the show. Sometimes just sort of as incidental, like, oh, let's promote this band by putting their song in the episode. But sometimes they were like kind of featured songs that would be important to the storytelling, but the licensing didn't carry over to the physical release. So it's all sort of commissioned music that just sort of fills the void of where like actual rock and pop songs were in the actual show. So that's a bit of a downer, but it doesn't hurt the overall viewing of the show, I think. This one I found at a thrift store or whatever. It's pretty banged up, but childhood classic, Teddy Ruxpin. I like this one. This was produced in Canada, so there's a lot of... I love watching stuff from my childhood again, where I can now look at the credits and recognize a lot of the names because they're either people I ended up working with, or they were my teachers, or I just they're like legends that I've met through animation events and whatnot. So that's fun to revisit that. Okay. All right. We're getting to one of my all-time favorites, one of my earliest favorites. Transformers, specifically seasons 3 and 4. So we were talking about Unicron earlier. So this is after the animated movie from the 80s, with all the new characters. Rodimus Prime and Galvatron and the sweeps, and you have Unicron's head floating there. So all the continuity of the movie preserved into this, into these seasons. This is like the Transformers I saw growing up, because the show itself started when I was a little too young to be watching it. So by the time they got to these episodes, or where those episodes were maybe like in reruns, I'm not sure if they were playing for the first time, but either way, the first ones I were seeing was the stuff from that season. So that was like Transformers to me, and then it was only going back that I saw the Optimus Prime, the movie, all that. So that really is like my Transformers. And I still love those seasons, just because I feel like the show gets a little like weirder because they're in space. They're not on Earth anymore, so they're always on some like weird planet. So the kind of quirkier, weirder episodes of the first couple seasons, you get more stuff like that, where like Galvatron's at some weird hippie spa planet where they're trying to like cure his insanity. Just weird episode ideas like that I really love. I'm going to show all these together because they're all kind of connected. These are the Zelda and Mario cartoons. I have a lot of the Mario because there's multiple versions of the Mario cartoon. There's the one that's sort of based off the Mario 2 characters. There's one that's sort of based off Mario 3 with the Koopalings. And then there's the one for that was its own standalone show. I guess the one for Mario 3 was also a standalone show. Because the other ones, so Zelda and the first one, the Mario Brothers, the Super Show Mario Brothers one, it aired in that live action Mario show where they would have the live action characters playing Mario in a set. And they would have weird celebrity guests, but then they would cut away to these mini episodes of Zelda and Mario. And so I love this stuff. I find it really fun, and it's janky, but in all the right ways. The Zelda one actually I was revisiting, and one thing that comes up is, sometimes the animation in these things is a little like limited, a little rough. There's mistakes and stuff, but the drawings, like especially the Zelda one, I noticed in particular because there's more realistic character designs. The posing and the breakdowns there's some really nice stuff, so it's worth revisiting. Another show that I actually similarly felt that way with, where I was like, oh, there's some good art in the show, was the Earthworm Jim cartoon. This is one that often gets forgotten. It's it just feels like, oh, it's a tie-in for a video game. This is actually a really fun cartoon. It's got like sort of like the Tick vibes, very meta, self-referential, fourth wall breaking, a lot of like fun esoteric references for like a kid show. Like I remember there was this there's a part where they like are referencing Ingmar Bergman in the show. It's definitely felt like the writers and artists of the show amusing themselves, which I think makes a show really hold up over time, because it's that stuff where it made an impression on you as a kid before you understood what they were referencing, but now as an adult it's fun to get that like second pass at stuff and have seen some of those references and understand the jokes, and you get this whole other layer of it. And like I was saying before, some really great cartoony posing. The characters, the villains in Earthworm Jim are really cool. I love like Evil the cat. Just good, like memorable villains. Professor Monkey for a head. I was obsessed with that design as a kid. If you can picture it, it's like a scientist, and then his eyes he shares with a monkey that is growing out of his head like upside down. So the monkey can be walking with a professor on his head, or vice versa. And then Psy-Crow was great. Jim Cummings, the great Jim Cummings, is the voice of Psy-Crow. Here's one I was really excited to find at Odds and Sods. It's a local used record shop. Invader Zim. Yeah, that you're right. So Sean is saying that Evil the Cat is very Invader Zimmy. That's very sure. I never noticed that. Good call. So this was a fun one to find. This is an HBO animated series. That's scare quotes on animated. The Life and Times of Tim. Very crude drawing styles, very crude humor, and very limited animation. It's like literally like mouth flap lip sync and like clicking to poses, and like the characters are almost always just like in this pose. It's very like internet cartoon vibes. But it's hilarious. There's a lot of great like comedy actor stuff. Like this was an early show that like Nick Kroll was in. Weird. It says Matt Johnson. Was Matt John? It might be not the Matt Johnson of Nirvana, the band. I don't think. I feel like I'd remember that. But a lot of great guests, like a good roster of guest characters, and it's kind of like another HBO show called Animals, if anyone ever saw that, where the scripts are very improv-y, and then they match the animation to that. So it the sort of like loose bounce around dialogue fits with the sort of scratchy, loose drawing style. This is one I love owning on Blu-ray. It's so cool to have crisp, a crisp transfer of this show, Samurai Pizza Cats. This is really cool to see, because of course when I watched this as a kid, it's like on a small tube TV, and so it's like seeing it for the first time to see it that clearly on a nice new TV in Blu-ray. I like love when old cartoons, old media gets this high resolution upgrade, and you really feel the tactile nature of the materials they were working with to make it, and it makes you think about it differently. Like you start to realize, oh, when they have these like glimmer effects or whatever, it forces you to think about how they're making that happen without any digital tools at the time. And also, this is speaking about writers entertaining themselves in the form of a kid's show. There's a lot of stuff in here that is like that perfect line of like the Animaniacs kind of vibe, where they're referencing things that is going over kids' heads, but it's not like inappropriately. Like they're talking about like politics and like world affairs and like cultural stuff that kids don't have a reference for, but it's just like, because for that show, that was it was a comedy show in Japan as well, but they completely re-scripted the episodes when they translated. They weren't doing a one-for-one, because a lot of the humor, of course, was culturally relevant Japan, and it wasn't very successful, so there wasn't a lot of preservation of the scripts, so they were kind of making it up on the fly, and obviously having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to go through the last few of them really quickly so that I can figure out what's going on in this draw pile over here. This one is a fun one to have, because it's literally handmade by the creator, Sublo and Tangy Mustard, on Blu-ray. Art drawn on it and signed by Aaron Long himself, and also signed by Kevin, who does the voice of Tangy Mustard. So that's fun. These are some Blu-rays. I think did Kevin might have put this together himself. One of the voice actors, either the voice actor for Sublo, Ryan, or Kevin. Anyway, either way, it's just cool to have like an indie animation series on a Blu-ray, even if it is just in a sleeve. I actually would love. I'm thinking about making my own packaging for this and putting it in a case, because I think that'd be really fun. A couple more here. Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. This one might be a deep cut for some people. This was a show that went way over my head as a kid. It's definitely not a kid's show at all. It is an adult animated series. Sort of the premise of it is it's a therapist talking to his different patients, but they're comedians. They're stand-up comedians, sort of doing their shtick in the form of therapy. So it's and that's cool. Kind of like what I was saying with the Life and Time of Tim. Like, oh, it's Nick Kroll before anyone kind of knew who he was. Similarly, Dr. Katz has a lot of comedians that have gone on to do a lot of stuff. So it's kind of fun to see them it's like a weird way of preserving some of their early comedy bits. And this is also just a great show with a lot of great characters. Dr. Katz and his son, Ben. Very, very fun. Oh, yeah, H. John Benjamin plays his son. So a lot. Now that's a really, if you're a fan of his and his other projects, definitely check it out because yeah, it's just really it's a really cozy show too. It's very like muted, kind of dry sensibility, so it just feels very gentle and just fun to watch. And the creators went on to do home movies, so it has that similar vibe of just static drawings with the boil on the line, which they call squiggle vision, which was an automated way of doing it. Very early digital animation tool. Anyway, a lot of reasons why that one's fun to go back to. Sonic the Hedgehog, another video game tie-in show. It's fun to watch. Also, a little janky, rough around the edges, but this one had especially this in the comics that were in the same sort of continuity or lore, whatever. It had a huge effect on me as a kid. This is like the stuff I drew from the most, literally drew from, like would copy drawings from. So had a bigger influence on my drawings than, probably I even realize. And I'll finish off with, I'd say, my favorite cartoon of all time, Dexter's Laboratory. I like this one. I like the case too because his glasses are see-through. That's fun. You got Dexter and Dee Dee in there. And this one is the complete series because I need to have every episode on demand at all times. This is just perfect cartoon, in my opinion. Everything about it is great. Every character is great. Dexter is just one of the best cartoon characters of all time. Just so simple, appealing design. The voice of Dexter is like so funny. It's just such a good little nerd character. And one thing I love about old cartoons is I love the unpolished feeling of old cartoons. I love like the mistakes in old cartoons, but I also love the approach to storytelling where, because it was a cartoon, there wasn't the rules to sort of have satisfying payoffs in cartoons. In the sense that, I mean, in a live action show, things have to feel, there's more of an expectation that the story is going to hold together and make sense, that things happened earlier are going to matter later. But I feel with a cartoon, there's a permission that the audience implicitly, kind of subconsciously gives, where you're aware it's a bunch of drawings, so you know that there's like people just making this up as they go along. And not that every cartoon has to be this. I love shows that are grounded. I love like Common Side Effects was one of my favorites in the past little while, and Primal. These shows that have this epic storytelling feel. Primal, also by Gendy. But I loved how in Dexter, the stories more often than not, like, they don't resolve. Dexter will get punched in the face by his babysitter's boyfriend, and then like the episode will end, or he'll be on a roller coaster and hit something, and he'll get hurt, and that'll be how the episode ends. It's like there's no lesson, there's no something that I figured out earlier in the episode is going to help me solve my problem later, and preserve the status quo in that sort of typical episodic TV writing for live action that I feel cartoons especially in the 2010s have kind of skewed more in that direction. The sort of more like screenplay story structure thing, when I find that frustrating because cartoons have such permission to not do that to force them into that mold all the time, I feel is a missed opportunity, even though, like I said, I do like shows like that as well. So that is the end of the show and tell time. I'm gonna have to figure out what is going on with my draw pile so that I can I might have to force quit. Let's see. You're going to have to watch me figure this out live on the air. What might be happening now, just to give you live narration is I think that because Dropwell is frozen on me, but I can't quit because it's connected to a scene in my OBS. Oh no. And now OBS is freezing. Or at least I'm not able to select things. Guys, I might have messed up. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to... Oh, am I back? I'm back. Okay. Can I quit Dropwell now? Quit? No. I removed Dropwell from my OBS. Will that let me quit it now? No. Okay, I'm going to try to force quit it. Okay. All right. I was able to do that. Now I'm going to add it back to my OBS. Add source. macOS screen capture. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Hold on a sec. I'm learning live. And, okay, this isn't, we're getting a weird sort of recursive mirror going on, and I can't stop it from happening. We can see the chat so many times. Laura Silverman as the secretary. Oh yeah, right. It was her, right? As the I forget what was the secretary's name in that show. In Dr. Katz, Dexter was such a great show. I agree. Obviously, I agree. It's my favorite. Dexter was a greasy show in comparison to today's standards. Greasy. That's good. Good call. Good term for it. Okay. I'm going to try doing this without... I'm determined to get this working. Studio mode. Okay, this way I think I can do it without you all seeing what I'm doing. So in the meantime, I'll read some more of the chat. Oh yeah, Kayla's also saying that she loved this show, did not understand any of it. I think that you're talking about Dr. Katz. Yeah, I definitely... It was a show that would be on, in Canada at least, would be on Global, which was like Channel 3. And it would be like just before... I feel like it was on just before something else that I would be watching. Like it might have been like something that was on just before The Simpsons. And so I'd end up watching it and like... I knew there was like something I wasn't like getting about it, but when you're a kid, that's like appealing, right? That you feel like you're almost like it's like eavesdropping on the conversation going on at the adults table. You want to get what they're talking about. if I get this working, I really hope there's enough people sticking around to go in the draw pile. Continue without account. It's weird because there's like a right order I have to do all these things in for it to all work. Yeah, I feel like a lot of things I liked as a kid were kind of had a bit of that vibe to it, where, especially when you're like, another version of it is when you're about to go to high school and you start getting into like high school movies, almost to like get a sense of like what high school will be like, or to have like some sort of mental map of what to expect. Okay, someone's joined the drop. Oh, I guess maybe that's a random stranger. But yeah, I think that's a big thing that reason why I think like keeping the historical preservation of this media that influence us is so important, because it really does. It's like those early memories of trying to poke and prod at and understand the larger world. A big part of it is like watching stuff like this, and it's interesting and revealing sometimes to be able to go back to them and almost see how it shaped how you see the world, like get that other that perspective on it. Aha, okay, I got it. It's gonna happen. I promise. I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much right now. Okay. Ha, we're there. All right. Okay. We have a draw pile. I'm going to here, I'll post the new link. I'll take this one. I'll unpin the old one. Here's the new one. Please join it. It took so much work to get it working. I'll pin it. There we go. If you don't know how to join Drawpile, then you'll I say this every week because I don't look into it. I should get this information in my head. There is a browser-based version, but the one I use is a desktop application that you can download from drawpile.net. And once you do, you can go to at the top of the window, you can go to session and you can go to join, and the link I posted in the chat is what you'll paste into the URL bar, and that'll give you access to the shared canvas so we can all draw together. And you can draw with me and Cletus, who's the one other person in here. I think when I host them from the Drawpile server, there's a way just publicly people can just see and join anyone's Drawpile. Because I remove a password because it's an extra barrier to anyone joining, but I think that's the outcome of doing that. I don't know. Sometimes last week someone was in there actually drawing. This person's just sitting there, but sometimes people will actually draw with us, and that could be fun, right? So it's 9:00. I do not have, it's reading week this week, so I do not have class today, which means I'm not in such a hurry to get off stream. And considering that took me 15 minutes to get started, we can do an extended draw pile today. So Elisa says, I can't join, but I hope you all have a great day. Well, sorry you can't join, but also hope you have a great day. I'm going to get to it. I hope you will join. I'm going to draw some of my favorite guys. I got a lot of reference material here. I can start with some Sonic. Some Sonic. So, lesson learned. If I want to start the draw pile early, there has to be some way of keeping it active while I'm talking, or else the session will freeze on me. It'll be hard to get it running again. So maybe I have it ready to go, but I don't actually launch the session until I'm ready. And then maybe when my stream gets so many viewers that there's enough people in here to populate the draw pile early in the stream, then I can maybe launch it earlier. A little ambitious to aim for that when there's 2 people on the stream. So if for those who are still in the chat, I'd love to hear what physical media you collect, whether that's DVDs or records or video games is another thing. That there's the physical versus digital release just discussion. Yeah, and I'm just curious about if and why and how it's important to other people. I know a lot of people have gotten into collecting vinyl over the years, and one thing that's fun about vinyl is the art, right? The art on the record sleeve is fun. You can really have it. It's nice and big, and you can really see all the detail, and it's good to hang on the wall. We got a Carly in the draw pile. How's it going, Carly? Gonna give him a sassier expression. Good, good, good. Good to hear. Thank you for joining. Carly says, I used to collect manga. Right, book, yeah. And Pokemon cards. Oh, yeah. Pokemon cards, that one's is back. It's been back in a big way. Do you still read manga, but you just read it online? That's an expensive hobby if you are keeping up with it. I mean, all this stuff is, I guess. That's why I always like to look in used stores or in like the bargain bin for old cartoons. You find some really fun treasures there. Like at the Shoppers Drug Mart DVD bin. I found some pretty cool stuff in there over the years, like a Gumby DVD collection. Which I'm not sure where that one is actually. It's floating around here somewhere. Carly says, "Oh yeah, no, it's only online now or not at all. I read some webtoons, but I don't have the time. Back when they weren't crazy pricey, and I was young and had money." Yeah. Yeah, I definitely used to buy movies and music and stuff a lot more back when I didn't have rent to pay. But I guess it makes it so I just focus on buying the stuff that's it curates the collection more because you end up only getting the stuff that really speaks to you. Because it used to be like you'd buy something just to kind of check it out, right? Like you'd give something a shot. And I think it's mostly for the better that you don't have to do that anymore. By the time you're spending your hard-earned dollars on something, you there's ways of being able to find out if you like it first, and then like buying it is like committing to like, yeah, I like this so much, I want to actually support the people who made it and have it to have the physical object in my home and be able to stare at the cover for hours. I'm just realizing my in my robot themed live stream, I didn't mention Bunny Robot. I think that was her name from the Sonic cartoon. A half robot character. I've never drawn her before. Whoa, how did I select white? How did that happen? There we go. She didn't have bunny teeth in the show, but I'm making a creative decision here. Hmm. Let's see. I love this cat with wonky eye. Is that do you have a cat? Is this your cat or is this just a cat you once saw? It's definitely a real cat. I can feel its life force. That cat exists in the world for sure. Kind of Babsified this character. Oh, Carly says that she has 3 cats, but none of that breed. Okay. Oh, her cottontail is actually robotic too. All right, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna try to draw some pizza cats. Try to draw Speedy. these proportions. It's kind of looking like a cross between what's his face? Speedy. What's the other guy's name? It's Polyester, Speedy. Speedy Cerviche. Guido. Right, Guido Anchovy. Let me see if I can figure out his proportions. These are such good, charming drawings. I freaking love Samurai Pizza Cats. Such good designs. Really, like, complex for a cartoon. Like, they've got elements of both, like, hard to draw robot stuff, but then they've got the cartoony elements in there too, which are tricky in their own way. Yeah, there's so many. You have to indicate the perspective of these pieces to make them really sit well with everything else. But then it's got to have that cartoony charm. Pretty impressive. There's also that new, there's like a video game that's coming out soon, I think, based on the cartoon. It looks really cool. Very, very true to the original art style. Really impressively done. Seen a few trailers and clips from it. Haven't been keeping track of that though. I don't know when that comes out. Okay, it's supposed to come out this year, it looks like. Yeah, Blast from the Past. Yeah, not more specific information than that. But I'll post the reveal trailer in the chat. This juts out more. Oops. Oops. Yeah, this is fun to draw. I feel like I'm like learning stuff from drawing. I like I find this with music, like learning a song that I can't like figure out something where I'm like I don't know. It's like hard to find where the melody is. You really have to like search around the piano to like get all the nooks and crannies of a complicated melody, and you end up like learning. Like it almost like teaches you new musical shapes. And I find that's obviously also true drawing, and something I used to just do more regularly as a student. Like just while regularly while sitting down having my lunch, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna draw gorillas stuff today, and kind of expand the visual vocabulary. Yeah, and it's like only takes like I've only been drawing for like half an hour, so it doesn't even take that long, but I'm to pick up a bunch of new ideas. Well worth the time. Yeah, that definitely looks way more like him. Sean says their proportions, talking about the Samurai Pizza Cats, I imagine, look so perfect for NES style pixel art. Yeah, totally. The Crow guy has my fave design of them all. Yeah, he's so cool. The Crow General. He'd be fun to learn to draw. I just got a nice Sonic drawing from a lovely DM from Sean. Thank you, Sean. Very much appreciated. Was that when I couldn't? Did you draw that when I couldn't figure out how to get the drop file started? Took matters into your own hands. And the idea of animating this guy. Craziness. Some people are so good at this. Oh, don't want to cover up Carly's cute animal drinks. Hey, it's another realistic Sonic. I love a realistic Sonic. Goldar from Power Rangers would fit in with their design style. So true. A chibified Goldar would be right at home in the Samurai Pizza Cats extended universe. All right, I'm gonna color my Sonics. I'm gonna make him a cooler, more purpley blue. Bah! Sorry for flooding the canvas. Time and time again. Excuse me, I just quietly burped into the mic. Rocher. I think that was this character's name, Rocher. Oh, thank you. Carly says, I love that Sonic. Sonic is probably the character I've drawn the most other than my own characters. Maybe even, definitely more than some of even my own characters. Just considering how much I would draw him when those comics were first coming out. All right. I think I'm going to call it there. Aw, a little heart. Cute. Just broing out. Oh, Sean says, can't download the program to the work computer. Got it. Cool. I'm just going to shoot a little quick vid. Cool. I'm really happy with this drawing I did of Speedy. Oh, Cyber 6, right? Very cool. That'd be a cool one to own on DVD. Is there a DVD release to that? I've never seen that anywhere in my life, other than Teletoon, back in the good old days. Ooh, there's a Blu-ray release. Wow, it's $100. Cool cover for it though. Yeah. All right. I'm going to call it there, Carly. Thank you for drawing with me, though. I'm glad you were patient enough to stick with me while I was figuring out the draw pile stuff. Working out all the kinks. That's why it's a slow rollout to the stream before it gets too big, before there's hundreds of people here watching me fumble through things. Can figure out in the comfortable gaze of my close friends as they watch me struggle through live streaming and no struggle. I'm gonna say learning live, learning by doing. It's the best way to learn. Cyber 6 taught me so much about storyboarding. I'd have to revisit. I mean, I remember it being like a really high caliber show. Even back then, like there was something about it that stood out. Before I even, had the language or the perspective to be able to appreciate those things for what they are. And I don't know if I ever watched like the full show. I would, catch random episodes. So that one might be worth revisiting. But I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna shell out $100 for the Blu-ray, but maybe I can find it streaming. Oh no, streaming is cool. I like streaming too. I like streaming for some things, physical media for other things. It's all good. I just don't love that every Silicon Valley company is like some value extraction model that wants to shift everything about how we live to their way of doing things, so we have no other alternative but to pay them. I like choices. I don't want to do things just because I feel it's really the only available option. Variety is good. Variety in choices, variety in all things. And on that note, we'll wrap up today's stream. Like I said, next Monday there won't be a stream, but I will be kind of promoting the Thursday evening stream ahead of early next week, so people know to look for it. I'll probably even put something on my Instagram grid just so that it's like sticks in people's heads. But yeah, that'll be a longer stream too. I'll probably hop on in the early evening and work till late, so it could be a good 5-hour thing. Oh, also I might want to experiment with having people call in and chat with me on stream, so that yet another thing you'll be able to watch me fumble my way through and learn by doing. All right. Have a great day. Have a great week. And I will see you all, at the very latest, I'll see you all on Thursday on the stream. So please come check that out. And until then, have a good one.